Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, me. I'm old.
Yeah, but everybody says that. When you're 25, you say, "Oh, I'm getting old."
I'm not 25.
No, I'm saying you see a post from someone that's 25, you're like,
And
you
want to
little
punch
mother.
somebody in the
Yeah,
throat,
yeah.
Like, come here.
You know what we should talk about first?
What?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
That was a funny and amazing bit of my life.
Right?
Like, first of all, when I saw the first trailer or the preview trailer, I was like, what the heck? It was one of those shows.
How could you ruin that? There's enough source material with Sonic the Hedgehog and enough sketches that you could just...
Within half an hour, a viewer fixed the whole thing.
Oh, yeah?
He put up a new one. No, this is what you meant. And I was like, yeah.
I'm not even like a Sonic Hedgehog fan, but you know how cool he is in the video games. And they made him, oh man, a computer animation.
He had human teeth. Could you go any creepier than putting an animal like that, fake animal with real teeth?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like the chef from the Muppets with the
birdie,
fingers.
birdie. Yeah, yeah.
His fingers are real, man.
I know, that's creepy.
That's creepy.
Swedish Chef, I love him.
I love him. I used to love that whole show.
Yeah.
That was a very important part of my childhood.
You know who I liked? Beaker.
Beaker. Professor, what was his name though?
Bunsen. Professor Bunsen. And Beaker was always...
My trusty assistant, Beaker.
will get in this chamber.
And I shall now transform him from point A to point B. We're not adults, sorry.
I mean, we started this show quoting Sesame Street.
But no, I'm glad that the director was man enough to say, yo, I got this really wrong. I guess the people don't want this fake Sonic the Hedgehog, and they're going to go back and redo it.
Oh, so it's not being released?
No, they're going to redo the graphics.
Test audiences out there. Yeah. So now they got to rock it. Just gosh.
Problem with that is every single big YouTuber that voiced their angry opinion, you know, people with over 1 million subscribers are now like, we did it. We fixed it.
Yeah.
So now they're going to try this for every single movie now.
I don't know. I guess I'm always disappointed if you have a near and like if you're a Sonic the Hedgehog fan and it's close to your heart, you're never really going to be satisfied.
Listen, I got very lucky being a Thor fan that Chris Hemsworth.
Heck yeah.
Did you know that Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah.
That guy.
Hiddleston.
The guy who plays Loki. That he actually came on set to try to play the Thor role originally. No. So if you go watch Thor Ragnarok or Thor The Dark World, one of those two, there's scenes, behind the scenes stuff, and they have a scene where he's actually swinging the hammer. He looks all buffed up and cut up. Yeah, he's like with his shirt off. I'm like, and his blonde hair. I'm like,
man, you can't think of any other Loki besides him.
He is the greatest.
He took ownership.
First of all, those two castings are the greatest casting besides.
Come on, besides Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
And Chris Evans as Cap. You know, is
in my order of perfectly nailed: Loki, Iron Man, Thor, then Captain America. My order.
What's your thoughts on Bruce Banner?
No, I don't hate Ruffalo.
Agreed.
I don't. I like him. I enjoy watching him. I like his acting technique. I like how he plays Dr. Bruce Banner, but I don't like Ed Norton. But I thought Ed Norton
was a better. Ed Norton physically is what Bruce Banner looked like in the comics.
He's a jerk to work with. From my hear.
Totally.
Not that I know, but you know, if you read all the articles,
he's an ass.
So yeah, I think Ruffalo plays a great.
Janine Garofalo.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? I'm not angry enough.
Oh, Janine.
Speaking of Raw,
I love Janine Garofalo, by the way.
There's a scene in the movie where we won't spoil Endgame.
Oh, actually, let's talk non-spoiler Endgame, and then at the end of our non-spoiler Endgame, I'll blurt out a time, like in the recording when I edit it, I'll say skip to this time. So let's do that. So if you have not seen the movie, stick around right now, and then at the end of our non-spoiler sort of talk, I'll give a time that you can skip to. But please, you should have seen it already.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Are you a fan?
Even the directors have said the spoiler lift is up.
Right.
Like, everyone could talk about it.
And I think, so let's start right off the bat. First of all, pre-movie. Marvel and the Russo brothers have done another amazing job at keeping so much hidden about what's going to happen.
Incredible.
In a world where everybody needs to know what's going on, needs to find out what happened in the movie 8 months before the movie comes out. Their left turn, right turn moves, their okie dokie shuffle trailers, they're amazing because by the time you get to the movie theater, like, I didn't know that was going to happen.
It's going to be the new way. It's going to be the new way forever. And I think this, you remember me at when I watch previews, I'm like, la, 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 la. I close my eyes and stuff because they ruin the movies.
Right.
And I hope this is a step in the right direction where people are starting to see that people are going to see these movies anyway. They're going to see these big blockbusters anyway. You don't need to give away all the jokes on the preview. So I hope this is a step in the right direction of this misdirection.
I love it.
They even misdirected the actors. Do you know that?
Yes, because they have a habit of unintentionally spoiling stuff.
Freaking Tom Holland is always like,
Holland.
everyone dies.
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo was horrible at it.
He didn't even know that he really spoiled the ending. Like he was in an interview months ago.
Not of this movie. We're talking Infinity War.
Endgame.
Oh, so don't say anything then, because we're still on
I'm not saying what he's going to say, but he was in an interview and he said this was going to happen. Ha ha ha. Months later, that's what happened.
Mother, father,
So,
and he didn't know because
he was misled, so he thought something else, and he was joking because what he thought was going to happen wasn't what he said.
Oh,
He was just being funny just to answer the question type of thing, and I'm like, wait.
And then I think Tom Holland gives away things like, that was fun when I was on top of this thing,
you know,
and it's like, jerk, you're not supposed to know that thing arrives.
Right.
Or
the
that
Russo
you're
brothers
even...
are like, ay, fe, este muchacho. So I went into the movie expecting grandiose things, amazing stuff.
Helm's Deep, I always call it. You know why?
Why?
Well, like in Lord of the Rings, because they were the first ones to go to town on like full battle scenes. So my code for seeing that the first time, Helm's Deep, because in Lord of the Rings, that was the first time when I was like, wow.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
So were you expecting Helm's Deep, like another massive...
I was expecting massive battles, massive drops of knowledge, massive changes, massive things of like, I can't believe they did that. They really did that.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed.
I think I went in just hoping for nothing too cheesy or nothing that would take you out of the movie experience. And they didn't disappoint. They seemed to know how to tap into the super fan like us.
Right.
And when we get to the spoiler review, we'll talk about maybe things that we felt didn't work or that were confusing. But I think overall, man, 22 films, put it on your shelf in a DVD collection. You cannot complain about too many of them.
No, there's very few films that you're like, really? What was that all about?
Well, let's talk about it. Let's really quick right now, your top worst of the 22. I would say Ant-Man and Wasp.
Thor's Dark World.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of useless, even though it introduced the ether, which we later found out was one of the stones.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that's your bad.
That's not a spoiler, man. Get the hell out of here.
So I think to me the worst one is not Thor's Dark World, but it's amongst the worst ones.
I think I didn't really like Ant-Man and Wasp with the ghost woman and the whole battle with Pym and the other guy.
I thought it was a decent comic book movie, but not to be grouped into this.
Yeah, I just him in house arrest and that one to me didn't work. So that's our 2, Dark World, that. And then as a third, one of the Iron Men was like kind of weak.
I thought
2 into 3, like if you took the best things about those 2 movies and put them together, you'd get a decent movie. But there was like a relationship with Tony Stark and a kid in the third one.
That's going to come into play later. So
yeah.
I think that 2, Norman Rockwell character. Sam Rockwell,
the painter.
He drew that nice picture of Iron Man in the snowy background.
In the family kitchen.
Sam Rockwell. He played Tony's adversary in part 2.
Sam Rockwell. You're thinking of Ivan with the whips?
No.
Oh.
Ivan's employer later on.
I love that guy.
He was one of the best bad person in any
used
movie.
Car salesman-y kind of guy.
He's like, hey, we can make this work. Buddy.
Yeah.
It's a bird.
Yeah.
Get him any bird. It's like, it's not
we'll
my
get your bird.
It's not my bird.
Not my bird.
One of the greatest actings of our time. So overall, back to your point, 21 movies plus this Endgame, I think you could just tip your hat and say, Marvel,
tip your hat.
Good job.
Exactly. And that's how I went in feeling was, can they do it one last time? Almost like hoping don't mess this up. And they didn't mess it up. So that was great.
Epic is the only word I can think of. Like, it truly was Endgame.
Do you think the movie for like a non-fan, though, was epic?
what kind of non-fan? Is it a non-fan that enjoys action movies?
Yeah,
Because there was action, there was plots of interest, there was story to be told. Even this late in the game, there was a story being told.
You're right, but I think the Russo brothers kind of didn't really care about too much of, it really was for the fans, a lot of the stuff.
It was a lot for the fans, but the casual viewer would not be disappointed because
You're right, they wouldn't be disappointed.
You had love, you had loss, you had everything in there. I mean,
But I feel they wouldn't get a lot of like the throwback references and a lot
for
of,
instance,
you know what
you
I'm
and
saying?
I, we fanboyed, we peed our pants, we loved it.
Yeah,
Someone not so familiar with the background would have been, it's an okay movie. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
You know what?
That's why I always try to like take a step back as a nerd, as a comic nerd, and be like, would I have enjoyed this movie if I knew nothing? And yeah, there was a story and there was a mission. I would say it was very. I kind of liked. No spoilers here, but their Ocean's 11 kind of twist on it. Like there's almost a heist thing going on. So I thought that was cool because you rarely see one of the best kinds of movies are. Like Ocean's 11, there's a plan, there's a map, and you don't know.
Seeing the team work individually to get that common goal.
Cool, and I like that they all had like little teams that went out. That was pretty cool. All right, cool. So I think you're ready for spoilers now?
I am so ready.
All right. Spoiler alert.
That movie was the bomb, son.
Yo, everyone dies, yo.
The fact that they told so many. So first of all, every plot hole they've explained after the fact. Because there were plot holes.
The directors,
yes, the directors have been.
Let's talk about the first thing, brother. Thoughts on time travel in movies. And they even they brought up as jokes Back to the Future and Terminator because time travel causes problems in movies.
It always does. And you can't say that at the end of this movie you don't think there's going to be problems.
Oh, man.
But I think they did that purposely to introduce new characters into Phase 4.
This whole new timeline thing. All right, so for those of you that are a little confused, and you've all seen the movie, because if you haven't and you're around for spoilers...
You're a jerk. No, I'm kidding. I love you anyway, but you're a jerk.
Something's seriously wrong with you in your brain. But anyway, the whole idea of that when you went back in time, it created a new timeline was really confusing for fans. They had to ask questions like, hey, when Cap goes back and he's dancing with Peggy, well, are there two Caps? Like one of them frozen for all those years?
The genius of the Russo brothers is whenever Carter's husband was discussed, he was a man from... He was a blank description of something that could fill in as Captain America.
You mean earlier movies?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Earlier movies, her really quick TV show. They never showed her husband. They implied who it could have been, but never confirmed it.
Interesting.
But they left it where it doesn't not jive that it could have been Captain
You're kidding
this whole time.
me. You think they could have been thinking that the whole time?
Think about how far back their tie into an Endgame has been going on.
You're right. Like he visits her in the hospital in Civil War, I think. Right. And I don't know if it's Civil War, but when she passes away, the funeral and all
that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like so everything they did kind of has a balance where you could say, it's possible. Man. A lot of people have a bigger and here's the thing. In the movie theater, I answered this question right away. I was with a friend of mine and they asked me, how did this happen? And right away
What was it?
Let me tell you.
Oh, okay.
So people are like, well, supposedly they only had so much Pym particle. How did Thanos get his whole army back there? And I jokingly said, but I meant it. I said, dude, they reverse engineered it. You don't think Thanos you don't think Thanos is smarter than Hank Pym? I mean, he's not Reed Richards. He's Hank Pym.
I saw that the director said that character Maw.
And then he said,
that's one of his children.
He reversed engineering. I'm like, duh. How could you not think that? I mean, if you're looking to not have plot holes, you wouldn't think that way. But I was apologizing for the film, so I was thinking for the film what they wanted me to think.
All right, so let's clear up for those of you that are confused. In the movie Thanos from 2014, we're talking about that scene when Thanos and his army from 2014 show up in the present. And it's like, yo, how did you guys get here?
All of you guys.
So
there's just this much left. I mean, you smell it. It's
gone. They had to mass produce that Pym particle. And there were other, and I love coming back from the movie and going to watch the new rock stars. Do you know the guys who do the breakdowns of the trailers?
Yeah.
Eric Voss.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Eric Voss.
Hey, I'm Eric Voss. Hey, guys, so and the new trailer
I just want to hug him sometimes.
Damn, I love that guy.
I just want to hug him sometimes.
He's amazing, and I don't watch any previews or anything, so I actually go back in time, not to use a cool pun there, but I use some pin particles, and I go back and watch the trailer teasers and him break down what he thinks going to happen in the movie. He's like 85% right. Like he really does spoil movies.
But he's a nerd on that level, which is a cool thing. I mean,
Oh, so many of his theories are amazing. So I love doing that. I love going back and watching Eric Voss be like, maybe this is what's going to happen. And I'm like, damn, you were right, bro.
What did you feel about another controversial thing that they're talking about, the fat Thor?
Okay, so the thing with the fat Thor is I loved it. Like I actually, as it came on, I maybe I was disappointed that he didn't come back. But then I started thinking about, fat door. Damn.
I can't get through that fat door. I'm too thin.
Fat Thor never became buffed Thor because they had kind of done that already. They had kind of done him where, he was unworthy and weak, no hammer, and he came back like with a vengeance in Infinity War.
Right.
And so I think it was a kind of a nice tribute to all of us that have a little bit of a gut, or anyone who doesn't feel like they're physically whatever. He fought valiantly, obese.
More questions I had to answer being a Thor lover. I'm like, first of all, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was realistic because he has been traumatized by every failure that he has been through. His mom died. His father died. He lost his original hammer. Half of his people were killed, if not more, by Thanos. He didn't hit him in the head at first. These are all failures that have weighed on him over and over again that put him in a state of depression, which is what? Not caring, gaining weight, all those things. And I'm like, I'm glad they're addressing this in a funny way, but they're still addressing it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I thought at the end, if they would have miraculously made his body buffed, I would have been more upset.
Really? I mean,
you know why? Because humans, he's not a magician. His lightning,
it's kind of magical.
His thunder power and all that stuff is not magical in the sense of mass manipulation.
You ever see
the only thing that kind of pissed me, the only thing that I thought was funny is when he did at the end start kicking ass, he somehow braided his beard and ponytailed up. That was hilarious. It gave me a true sense of an Asgard warrior.
Yeah, Lebowski. Yeah.
What's the big fat guy? Volstagg?
Yeah, he was Volstagg, who has the little...
Yeah, I thought it was like a small
Maybe
tribute.
that was a little throwback.
I thought it was a little tribute to him. Like, I could be fat and still kick ass.
By the way, no spoilers. Never mind. I didn't want to spoil a different movie. That's one thing that happens sometimes on spoiler reviews.
Yeah.
The people, they don't realize they're spoiling another movie.
Right.
They think spoiler reviews for all movies. I've watched spoiler reviews of things, and they're like, yeah, when this character died in this other movie.
But think about that, though. I think if they're spoiling a movie that's more current, an old movie is a target. It's a fair target.
It's a target. Okay.
I mean, if
you're right.
If they're spoiling two brand new movies, that's jerk moves.
All right, wait. Let's go back to the Thor thing. I saw somewhere something funny that in Thor Ragnarok, it's the YouTube channel Real Life Trailers or something like that.
Honest Trailers?
Honest Trailers. Yeah. They did Honest Trailers Ragnarok, and the guy goes, in a movie where someone who controls lightning gets electrocuted, and he does a montage of, remember, because Ragnarok, he's got the little thing on his throat. It's so funny. So, more spoiler stuff. Your thoughts on the scene, which was an amazing scene, Renner versus Johansson. The Soul Stone scene.
Oh, I didn't know how I felt about that scene. Like, it left me. I
knew it had to be her as they were struggling. The whole family thing.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. Like, this is where I realized that Marvel had character developed perfectly along the way, because I actually cared about both of them.
Yeah.
I you know what? To me, when the first Avenger, I'm like, guy with a bow and arrow.
We always talk about him.
I mean,
but Renner is also not that likable as an actor. He's supposed to not be, because believe it or not, Hawkeye in the comics is a jerk.
A complete jerk.
Yeah.
He's a complete jerk.
So he's a good casting.
Yeah. So I think when the Age of Ultron, where he goes into that scene where the Scarlet Witch, and he's like, listen, this place is floating. There's millions of robots out there. I have a bow and arrow. I mean,
that's what I fell in love with him.
That's when he became more human to me.
Yeah.
Like, he gets it. And I thought at the end there, I thought they were going to make him be the sacrifice because of the impact of him doing this all for his family. And then the way they both caught each other, and
they did a double twist.
Yeah, that last thing, like I sat there and
I was surprised when it was going to be Renner. Like when Hawkeye was falling, I'm like, it can't be him. And they established the family in the beginning, so I knew it couldn't be him. They seemed to have established that she was going to go, with a little bit of pre sort of scenes where she made peace. I forgot the scene, but they kind of hinted at that she was ready to go and do everything to bring people back. I think she was in the office with her feet up, and someone walked in.
When Captain walked in with a sandwich.
That's what it was. Yeah, with the sandwich.
You want a piece of my sandwich?
She seemed like she was at her last straw in that scene where she could have done anything to save everyone. It's time to give herself up. No. So when it was her, I was at peace with it, because how many movies? It's such a cop out where there is no like Shakespearean tragedy, and Gamora to me kind of was, but I didn't have the same connection with Gamora than I did.
No, I think I was upset that Gamora got it in the previous movie.
Damn, we just spoiled the previous movie.
We're jerks. But I didn't think it didn't change my life that day, and the fact that they offed Widow to save everyone with it, so that Hawkeye can get the Soul Stone. I thought pretty brave. Because that's gonna piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like movies used to be. I think, and even the comics are a little bit more tragic. So you need a little bit of that.
More tragic.
Yeah,
everyone dies in the comics. They come back. They come back, but they all die.
Well, with this timeline thing now, for example, in the movie, Loki steals the Tesseract in the movie and can be like in a new timeline. Right. And so, I think Disney is making a TV show or something.
Right, with him and somebody else as a main character.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I love Loki and could see him in his own thing, but does it take away from
a weekly dose of him? Or I mean, that might be too much. I always say small doses make everything better.
Yeah,
because it makes you want more.
Yeah.
If you get him every week or whatever they're going to
Boy, were there small doses of a lot of characters in this movie.
Yeah, they brought back a lot of people.
Like for example, Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch. I mean, she was a prominent character in the last one, and here she's in the background, like just moving her arms around.
Just doing her
Doctor Strange. I mean, Spider-Man a little bit.
They don't come in towards the end until towards the end of the movie. I thought everything was pretty amazing. I thought the fan service of Cap picking up the hammer.
Man.
My
the crowd went nuts. Yeah. And you go early. You go like the first weekend. We try to go when there's no people. It's like,
so I went that first Saturday. I went and I was like, yeah, pick up that hammer. And the same thing Thor thought is what I thought. Well, not Thor thought. He actually
get the little one?
No. He said when he said, "I knew it."
Yeah,
I knew the captain.
The movement thing,
he didn't want to lift it to embarrass anybody.
That's what the director said.
And I think that when Thor said, "I knew it," I said the same thing in my head. Like I knew he could pick it up all the time.
I don't think he was really.
Well, he's picked it up many times in the comics.
Yeah,
many times. So
I do like. All right, let's talk about problems with the movie, because we could just be gushing about it, which is it has enough to gush about it. But a couple of problems. Number one, the reason that I couldn't take that Thanos was stronger against the heroes in this movie. The 2014 Thanos.
Are you crazy?
Without a gauntlet or anything, like he had the gauntlet in the fight scene in Infinity War, and they almost got it off, and were like making them bleed and this and that. So,
here's
all right. Counterpoint.
I'm easily gonna jump on this one real fast.
Go.
In the first movie, he was an older Thanos, and his theory was, I'm going to decimate half of the universe. I'm not gonna have to kill these people, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to kill these Avengers to get my final thing done. I'm just gonna get the stones and make it happen.
All right.
So he was a more docile villain in that sense. Yeah, he still do whatever he needed to get done. Like for instance, I'm sure if he had kept meeting more resistance, eventually he would have killed one of them.
Okay.
But he didn't need. Think of what scene did he need to kill anybody? He killed Loki in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get show him a lesson, but he already got the stone. At no point throughout the movie was he
killed the Collector, didn't he?
Well, supposedly.
Yeah,
but there was no point throughout the movie where he felt stressed enough by the Avengers that he had to put one of them down.
You're right. There were many opportunities.
He had many
when he takes Gamora and says, "I like him." to
the Star-Lord.
Star-Lord. Yeah, he just like shoo.
Now fast forward to 2014.
He's super angry. He wants to annihilate everyone.
2014, Thanos just watched Thor kill him.
But still, that doesn't explain why he's physically strong.
He has always been physically strong.
I know, but without the gauntlet.
He had his armor, full armor on the whole time.
I'll take that.
He was using his double blade weapon for the first time and kicking people's asses. I thought that he actually had a resurgence of powers of bringing him back to the Thanos we all know.
Yeah,
the
Thanos,
ass kicker, the destroyer.
Yeah, that's true. He was a little bit more foreboding in the beginning, like end scenes and all that. They made him be all encompassing power. So that's true. You're right. You would win in like a high school Marvel debate.
Maybe against a high schooler right now. Yes, I hope so.
Me, definitely.
No. So I thought my problem.
So that was my little problem. So give me something that you maybe as a negative or like a little bit of a problem.
I thought that the fact that I think they impacted the time down the road and they played it off like they didn't. I thought that was a problem for me, but I'm sure they'll work it out because these people are smarter than I am making these movies. 2, I had a big problem when it came to I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
But I really didn't like Professor Hulk. I didn't hate him. At no point did I hate him, but I didn't see Hulk the whole movie.
Agreed.
I didn't, except when he was being funny when they get
kicking the motorcycle. All right.
That was hilarious.
So the same journey with Thor that I had hoped, I hoped with Professor Hulk. I hoped that Fat Thor was gonna huge burst of lightning and be the original Thor, like long hair, kind of, it's a throwback. Not even that Thor. That Thor's like short hair. Yeah, but they could have played that song again. I would have been like, yeah!
That song is awesome.
And Mjolnir back. And so, like, if Thor would have come full circle to the Thor I loved from the first movie, I think I would have just, peed in my pants kind of thing. The Hulk, I agree. I loved Professor Hulk, like when they're at the diner and he was, remember the Ant-Man?
No,
He's
take
like,
a picture.
Take a picture. He's like, come on, he feels bad. It was like so human moment.
It was so awkward too.
So
I
awkward.
felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Take the picture, dude.
I know. So perfect. However, there was no payoff where I think I would have been happier if when he had to snap his finger, he's like, I got to change. And that he would have changed into Hulk from Professor Hulk. You know what I mean? Like if he would have gotten bigger and then snapped and really gotten destroyed with the gauntlet, I think that would have been even more effective to show the ending of Tony, that it really would have wiped him out, that super Hulk couldn't even kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It seems that you've watched the directors talk a lot.
Yeah.
What was their reasoning for not? Did they talk anything about Hulk?
For not
in the
making
stuff that
him.
you've seen?
From the stuff I've seen, no. Like there hasn't been. I think they needed a Banner because of the whole gamma description and stuff, and going to the back in time to get the time stone. They needed him to be smart. They needed Ruffalo to be like, they didn't want him to be Banner again.
Right.
So the Professor Hulk is in the comics. For those of you that don't know, Hulk does become smart as the Hulk, but he's like full size in the comics,
right? And he's
this half size thing.
Yeah,
it really pissed me off. He's wearing clothes. I like what he says. I'm wearing clothes now.
Ruffalo again, saving a lot of scenes there.
Yeah. So it was funny. You're right. It was funny, and the animation was like out of this world. Like the face capture was like, wow. I think it was the best Hulk because the first Hulk, perfect. Not the first Hulk.
Not Eric Bana.
Yeah, not that guy. That was horrible animation. And
I mean, for back then, it was pretty good. But if you go look at it now, it doesn't hold up.
No. Hulk in Avengers 1, beautiful. The next Hulk in Age of Ultron, not so much. When they gave him purple pants, ugh. The Hulk in Ragnarok, horrible.
Right. It was too cartoony.
Yeah.
It was too fake.
Shadows and stuff were off. I don't know.
I enjoyed the movie a lot, but my biggest problem with that movie was Hulk's captured, how they captured Hulk and portrayed him.
Yeah. Do you know Lou Ferrigno that used to do the voice of Hulk?
Yeah.
Puny God.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I'm like, why didn't they keep that for when Thor, baby arms.
Because they got to give Ruffalo some lines.
You're right. It's kind of like when frickin' Tom Holland takes his mask off every 5 minutes.
Actors will take their mask off. How many times has Tony Stark opened up his suit?
Man.
Even Rhodey takes off his suit. There's not one superstar actor that doesn't want to take off their masks.
Yeah. I got to link up a video for you. It's just called "Does Marvel Overdo CGI?" Is a great video, and it's great because it visits the first Iron Man, where Jon Favreau, they built he's
in it.
He's totally in the suit.
in the suit.
And then even when he's in the other suits, it's a full upper like armor. And then towards the end, they completely animate the entire thing. All they wear is like a little kind of reference thing, you know? Man.
But overall, I think Endgame was a great payoff. A lot of fan service, a lot of closure, a lot more questions, a lot more openings for the future. Think about how little Captain Marvel played in the movie. Like,
that should have been
a lot of people were upset about that.
That.
Like, why wasn't she in here? And granted, everyone was going through drama, and she is a universal hero, not just the Earth's hero.
Yeah. Do you think it was a mistake to kind of at the end credit scene in Infinity War, which hints, let's call our Superman, let's call our help, and all she did was bring kind of Tony Stark down from the ship, which was an important part to get Tony back on Earth as a reunion. But she didn't do that one thing that the heroes needed.
No, she didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything that Peter Parker didn't do. Think about that.
Exactly.
She carried the rock, right? He carried the rock. I did like the fan service where they had the female heroes lined up.
I thought that was cheesy.
Oh, you know why? Because you're a sexist. I thought it was.
My wife said it was cheesy.
No. I thought it was.
A tribute. It was a tribute.
I will co-sign with you. It was a level of cheese to it, but I thought it was a nice level of cheese. I thought it was hey, listen, ladies, we see that you guys are important, so here's this little scene for you. You're right too. You're right that it was cheesy, but I think
they should have done the men as well. What if they turned the camera on by like all the guys?
Speaking of story,
yeah.
What is the bald girl's name in the movie? Nebula.
I
thought Nebula's journey from beginning to that Endgame movie
powerful.
I mean, just from her first Guardians of the Galaxy to where she shoots herself.
Yeah,
I thought that was so powerful. Like
when she's tortured, everything with her. That's crazy.
She's such an underrated role.
And what I would have loved that came back from some past movie. Yondu. How cool would have been? Like,
hey boy.
Yeah. People would have been like, Yondu.
That's all you would have heard. It's like, hey boy, y'all got this party started without me? And then the
something.
Whistle.
Yeah, if people can come back, I mean, they could have brought back Yondu, stuff like that. But Rocket.
Nebula and Rocket. Great. Think about this. Like, he's a complete jerk. They both used to be loners, even though she had a sister. He's used to be a loner. They both find that they have a family that they actually care about now.
Yeah.
And the fact that when they come back, Nebula and Tony Stark come back, what's the first thing she does? She sits on the steps, and Rocket holds her hand.
Yeah.
A very small moment that was so powerful.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that shows you how far both of them have come.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I thought that Rocket came back... I gotta be the captain when it comes up to Thor. Where he's like, "So you lost your sister, you lost your brother."
Yeah.
So I thought that was his shining moment, was the relationship between Thor. Oh my god, I would totally see a movie with just Thor and Rocket.
I'm hoping they pay that off.
When did he get on the ship with everyone? Was that towards the end? Like Thor is going to travel?
Yeah, like when he said, the Asgardians of the Galaxy. There's a comic book now, Asgardians of the Galaxy.
No.
There is. So I thought that was a good homage and payoff too. But
they've hinted that these characters would do cameos again. Do you think they should just like stop and refresh everything? Like 22 movies. Is it 22 movies?
Well, with Endgame, yeah.
Should they all just like disappear and we keep a few of the leftovers, like, the newer ones like Spider-Man, and for example, if Captain America shows up in something, or
there's a Black Widow movie coming out.
Yeah, total prequel.
So people are saying it's a prequel. The Russo brothers might be like, nah, here, check this out. We saved her. Bitches cried for nothing. I still want to see Cap show up every once in a while. I still want to see
Look at his face.
Thor show up.
Look at
somehow.
that face.
He's sexy.
I mean, Chris Evans to me is Cap forever.
So yeah, I mean, to me personally, there's never enough cameos. There's never enough this. Obviously, when he's like 60 and he physically can't lift the shield up as an actor, put it down, son.
Yeah, I'm under the impression that they should either use this whole new timeline thing or just refresh everyone. But maybe don't use Cap right away. Don't have a new Iron Man right away. But there's so many heroes they could.
So here's a spoiler for you.
All right.
I don't know if you picked it up.
Wait.
I only picked it up because I knew.
Don't tell me about any kind of Spider-Man home.
No.
Coming home.
No, it's a spoiler to the same movie we were talking about.
Okay.
Endgame. At the end of the Endgame, when they're all at the memorial for Tony, they pan through everyone that's been in the movie. Did you notice that random kid?
Yeah, I had to look up who he was. The kid.
In case you don't know, he's the true actor that played the kid in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And in the comic world, there's a kid called Iron Lad.
Oh.
And if you remember in Iron Man 3, Tony Stark gave that kid a full kit out.
There you go.
Laboratory.
That's one way to keep it going.
So they can introduce Iron Lad without replacing Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because Iron Lad is part of the new Avengers or the Young Avengers.
Agreed. But I guess my question is, do they need to stay in this universe? Like, couldn't this be, even with these movies coming out after, couldn't they just close the book on this and start fresh? Like, with a younger Tony Stark.
You don't think they're doing that already? Think about you haven't watched the commercial, so cover your ears and then watch this and skip this part there in the editing. No.
Don't spoil anything. For those of you that are new here, I don't watch previews. And so when I'm sitting in the theater, this is embarrassing to admit, but I have earplugs. I bring earplugs. So when Spider-Man Coming Home previews come on, I put them on and I'm like, I close my eyes. Anyone looking over thinks I'm a freak.
So he's a freak by nature, but that's why we love him. So there is
But I like to go in fresh.
There is something mentioned in the preview for the new Spider-Man movie that allows you to believe that they are broaching the multi-universe.
Miles.
The mention of Earth 616 is said.
Oh, wow.
So once you hear that, if you don't know, Earth 616 is
our Earth. Yo.
The Earth that started it all in the Marvel world, but it wasn't the last Earth.
Yeah, because Miles Morales lives in a different... Oh, man, I hope they're making that next movie. I hope they're making the next Miles Morales movie.
Into the Spider-Verse. Same format or live action? What would you prefer?
No. Same form. I want an...
So many people hated that format until they've watched the movie like 8 times.
Oh, the art.
Because I've watched the movie like 8 times
but
probably.
have a great story, another great story.
Come on,
we need to stop this conversation. All right, so this episode does not have any photography. If you've waited this long to...
Sucker!
Why are these cameras here?
Because that's what we do, son.
They film movies with these.
This is Russo clickbait.
That's right. This Avengers Endgame was filmed with the Canon 5D Mark IV. I hope not. You know they filmed it in IMAX?
Yeah.
Did you see it in IMAX or no?
No, I saw it. I saw it right in my hometown, really cheap. So I do want to see it in IMAX though.
Yeah, you want to go? Let's see it again.
I definitely want to see it again. No one wants to see it again with me.
Let's see it again in IMAX because I want.
I want to get the full experience.
Yeah, love it. Awkward. All right.